Listen to me. You can talk all day about how bad you want it, how hungry you are, and how much you deserve success. But at the end of the day, talk don't move mountains. Results do. You can post, you can promise, you can plan, but until you produce, nobody's listening. The world doesn't respect your potential. It respects your proof. You say you're grinding? Then show me the grind and your results. Because in this life, results talk louder than excuses. Louder than dreams, louder than words. Listen to me. Everybody got something to say. Everybody's talking about what they're going to do, where they're going to be, what they're going to have, and how big their dream is. But I need you to understand something right now. Talk is cheap. Words don't move mountains, actions do. You can make all the declarations you want. You can say you're about to change your life. But until you do it, nobody believes you. People are tired of hearing you say what you're going to do. They want to see what you've done. They want to see proof. They want to see results. Stop talking about what you're going to become and start becoming it. Stop saying, I'm about to get serious. Get serious and get serious. Stop talking about someday and start making a someday today. See, we live in a world where everybody's trying to prove themselves with words. Social media is full of talkers. Everybody's announcing plans, but very few are showing progress. You can post all the motivational quotes you want, but if you're not doing the work, it means nothing. Motivation means nothing without movement. You can't inspire people with empty promises. You can only inspire them with your result. When you're talking about what you're going to do, your brain is satisfied. It thinks it's already accomplished something. That's why so many people stay stuck in the same place, year after year, still talking about the same goals, the same dreams, the same vision, because they got addicted to talking about it instead of doing it. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start producing results. You got to understand that success is not about making noise. It's about making progress. You don't need to tell the world you're grinding. If you're really working, your results will scream it for you. The problem is, some of you have mastered the language of goals, but not the lifestyle of execution. You can explain your dream in detail, but you can't show me any evidence of movement. You've got the vision board, the notebook, the motivation, but not the results. You become comfortable talking about where you're going instead of taking the steps to get there. But the universe doesn't reward dreamers. It rewards doers. The world doesn't pay you for what you plan. It pays you for what you produce. You see, there's a difference between people who talk about it and people who be about it. The ones who make it don't announce it. They just show up every day, quietly putting in work. They're not chasing attention. They're chasing improvement. You'll never see them bragging because their success does the talking. And when it's time, when the results show, nobody can deny it. You don't need validation when you've got proof. You don't need approval when you've got evidence. When you show up with results, you don't have to convince anyone. You command respect. The truth is, you've been talking too long. You've been saying, this is my year every year. You've been saying, I'm gonna get in shape, but you're still in the gym. You've been saying, I'm gonna start my business, but you're still stuck in fear. You've been saying, I'm gonna change, but you're still comfortable. And I need you to hear me. Your results are the only thing that matters. The world doesn't remember your plans, it remembers your performance. Nobody cares about what you said you were going to do. They only care about what you actually did. Because when you produce results, people stop questioning you. When you produce results, you don't have to argue. Your success becomes your response. You got to stop trying to convince people you're about to be great. Just be great. Don't tell me you're grinding. Show me the grind. Don't tell me you're working. Show me the results. You want to be respected? Earn it. You want to be taken seriously? Deliver. Because there comes a point when words lose power. There comes a point when the people around you have heard it all before. You promised them, you told them, you've explained, but now it's time to prove it. Results don't lie. Results don't need defending. Results don't need a story. They stand on their own. You have to get addicted to execution. Every day, wake up and do something that moves you closer to your goal. Don't waste your breath telling people what you're about to do. Let them find out when you're already there. Let them see the difference. Let them say, I didn't even know you were working on that. That's power. The quiet grind, the behind the scenes struggle. That's what builds real results. When you're truly focused, you don't have time to talk about it because you're too busy doing it. You're too busy putting in work. You're too busy turning your dream into something real. Let me tell you something. Results come from discipline, not discussion. They come from commitment, not conversation. The people who make it aren't the ones who say they will. They're the ones who do it even when they don't feel like it. You can't keep talking about change and still live in the same habit. You can't say you want more and still give the same effort. You can't say you're hungry and still take days off from your grind. If you want to show the world you're serious, you don't do it with your words. You do it with your actions because listen, when your results start showing, your critics go silent, your doubters disappear. The same people who ignored you start paying attention. You won't have to announce your success. Your success will announce you. That's why I tell you, stop wasting your energy trying to explain yourself. Stop trying to prove your worth to people who don't believe in you. Just work. Work in silence. Work in silence. Work in focus. Work in faith. And when it's time, your results will speak louder than any speech you could ever give. People will notice. People will respect it. But first, you got to get up and start moving. And don't get it twisted. It's not easy. Execution hurts. Discipline hurts. Waking up early when nobody's watching, pushing through when you're tired, sacrificing comfort, that's what produces results. Anybody can talk about success, but few can survive the grind that creates it. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to test you because only the ones who can do it deserve to have it. So if you're serious, stop talking about the pain and start working through it. Stop describing the mountain and start climbing it. Stop saying go one die and make today the day. Every day you waste talking is another day you could have been building. You can't get those days back. Time doesn't stop for talkers. It only rewards movers. The opportunity you're waiting for is waiting on you to stop talking and start doing. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It only sees your impact. So I'm asking you, what do your results say about you right now? Are you proving your hunger or are you just repeating it? Are you producing change or are you still promising it? Don't tell me you're ready. Show me you're ready. Because readiness is revealed through results. Some of you are praying for success, but God's waiting on you to move. You keep asking for a sign, but the sign is simple: get to work. You already have the tools, the talent, the dream, the design. What you're missing is execution. What you're missing is the decision to do it now. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another promise. You need results. And the only way to get them is through consistent, relentless action every single day. No breaks, no excuses. So stop talking about potential, start producing proof. Stop talking about what you could do. Start doing what you said you would. Because when you finally start producing results, everything changes. The same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. The same people who ignored you will want your advice. But it won't be because of your word. It'll be because of your work. To live in such a way that your results talk louder than your voice. So I'm telling you today, no more announcements, no more promises, no more talking. Let the results speak. Let your performance do the talking. Let your growth do the talking. Let your progress shout so loud that your words aren't even needed. When people look at you, they should see the grind. They should see the improvement. They should see the transformation. Because in the end, success has one language, and it's called results. You can't fake results. You can't pretend your way into greatness. You can't talk your way into legacy. You earn it. You build it. You sweat for it. You sacrifice for it. You go through sleepless nights, lonely days, painful setbacks, but you keep going. You keep producing. You keep executing. And one day the world looks up and says, wow. That's when you know your results have finally spoken. That's when you realize your silence was louder than all the noise. So stop talking and start producing. Because when it's all said and done, nobody remembers the speeches. They remember the results. You don't have to tell people who you are when your work speaks louder than your mouth ever could. You don't need to announce your greatness when your results already have your name written all over them. The problem with most people is that they want recognition before they've earned it. They want applause before they performed. But that's not how success works. The world doesn't care what you say you're capable of. It only cares what you've proven you can do. Your work ethic is your real introduction. Your consistency is your reputation. the way you show up, the way you grind, the way you deliver when nobody's watching. That's the language that success understands. See, when you show up early, stay late, and give everything you've got, you don't need to post about it. You don't need to explain it. Because the results you produce will be your voice. People respect what they can see. They might not like you, they might not agree with you, but they will have to respect your grind when it produces undeniable results. There's something powerful about being known, not for what you said, but for what you did. When people talk about you, they don't say, he talked a lot. They say that person worked. That person delivered. That person never quit. That's how legends are made, not through talk, but through tireless effort. You've got to get to a point in your life where your work ethic becomes your identity. When people hear your name, they should instantly connect it to excellence, not to laziness, not to inconsistency, not to empty promises, but to results, to reliability, to grit. You should aim to be that person who doesn't have to remind anyone they're working hard, because it's already obvious. When your results show up before you do, that's real success, credibility. That's influence. You got to understand that talk fades, but work remains. The loudest person in the room is often the one doing the least. Real winners move quietly. They don't talk about their next move. They execute it. They don't brag about their plan. They let their progress reveal it. There's power in silence when you're grinding, because silence means focus. Silence means discipline. Silence means you're not distracted by applause or attention. You're locked in on execution. You see, when you really want something, you don't need to broadcast it. You're too busy chasing it. The ones who truly want success aren't trying to convince the world. They're too busy convincing themselves every day through action. They wake up before everyone else. They sacrifice more. They stay later. And even when nobody's there to clap for them, they still give their best. Because they know something most people don't. Results speak louder than recognition. And I need you to hear this. Nobody respects potential forever. Potential means nothing without performance. You might be gifted, talented, intelligent, creative, but if your work ethic doesn't match your potential, it's wasted. The world is full of people who could have made it, who had what it took but didn't do what it takes. You don't get remembered for what you could do. You get remembered for what you did. So if you want people to respect your name, stop talking about how much potential you have and start producing consistent results that prove it. Your work ethic is your signature. It's the mark you leave on everything you touch. When you walk into a room, your energy, your focus, your drive, they all speak before you say a word. The way you prepare, the way you perform, the way you respond to challenges, that's your voice. You're writing your story every day with the way you work. And if you're not working like you mean it, you're sending the wrong message. You can't expect to be respected when your effort is inconsistent. You can't demand success when your grind is casual. If you want greatness, you have to give greatness every single day. It's not about what you do when the lights are on. It's about what you do when nobody's watching. It's about what you do when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's inconvenient. That's when your work ethic's truly tested. Anybody can work hard when it's easy, but real champions work when they're tired, when they're discouraged, when the world says it's over, because their results are their validation. You gotta develop a mindset that says, I don't need approval, I don't need permission, I don't need praise. My work will speak for me. When you live like that, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not chasing people's opinions, you're chasing excellence. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to improve yourself. You're not working for applause, you're working for achievement. And when you start operating like that, the results will follow. You've got to love the process more than the praise. You got to get addicted to the grind, not the glory. When you love the work, when you respect the process, you stop looking for shortcuts. You stop complaining. You stop waiting. You start moving with purpose every single day. And before you know it, your consistency starts paying off. You start seeing the fruit of your labor. That's when your results start talking. That's when people start noticing. But here's the truth. Most people want to skip the grind and go straight to the glory. They want the title without the toil. They want the recognition without the repetition. But it doesn't work like that. Success is rented, and rent is due every single day. You got to pay it through effort, through discipline, through sacrifice. And the moment you stop paying, you stop growing. That's why you can't afford to slow down. You can't afford to get comfortable. Comfort kills progress. When you put in consistent effort, when you outwork everyone around you, your name starts traveling further than your voice ever could. Opportunities start showing up that you didn't even chase. People start recommending you, not because you asked, but because they saw your results. That's what happens when your work ethic speaks for you. It opens doors that words can't. It creates respect that talk can. You might not be the smartest. You might not be the most talented. But if you're the most consistent, you win. Because effort beats talent when talent doesn't put in effort. Every single time. Your work ethic is the great equalizer. It levels the playing field. You can't control how gifted you were born, but you can control how hard you work. You can control how much effort you give. And the moment you decide to give everything you've got, that's the moment you start separating yourself from the crowd. People respect work. They respect results. They respect proof. They may not like you. They may not understand you. But when you deliver, they can't deny you. Your work becomes your argument. Your results become your defense. You don't have to say a word. Your consistency becomes your loudest statement. That's what success is. It's not loud, it's undeniable. So let them talk. Let them doubt you. Let them overlook you. Keep working. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. Because eventually your results will be so strong that even your haters will have to respect you. You won't need to respond to criticism because your work will already have answered it. You won't need to explain yourself because your success will have done it for you. Stop saying you're going to be great. Stop being great. Stop saying, oh, one day, make today that day. Every time you show up early, every time you stay late, every time you give your all, you're building a reputation that money can't buy. You're showing the world that you mean business. You're showing yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. And listen, it's not about perfection. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to fall short. But as long as you get up and keep grinding, your work ethic will keep speaking for you. Because consistency is louder than failure. Persistence is louder than pain. Effort is louder than excuses. The ones who win are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. At the end of the day, nobody remembers the talkers. They remember the doers. Nobody remembers the speeches. They remember the results. The world doesn't care about how good your intentions were. It cares about how great your execution was. So let your actions be your voice. Let your dedication be your statement. Let your results tell the story that your words never could. Because when your work ethic becomes louder than your voice, you don't need validation. You don't need credit. You don't need attention. The world will already know who you are because your results will have told them. So from this day forward, stop trying to convince people you're working hard. Let your effort, your consistency, your results, and your excellence speak for themselves. Because when your work speaks for you, it never whispers, it roars. The universe doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about how hard it was, how unfair it seemed, or how much you tried. And the only thing it rewards is effort and execution. You can talk about your circumstances all day long, but in the end, results don't lie. Life doesn't give out trophies for explanations. It gives them to finishers. You can spend your energy explaining why something didn't happen, or you can spend that same energy making it happen. Excuses might make you feel better for a moment, but they don't move you forward. They're like comfort food for the mind, sweet for a second, but toxic over time. The truth is simple. Excuses don't count if it does. Every time you choose an excuse, you're giving yourself permission to stay where you are. You're convincing yourself that it's okay not to grow, not to fight, not to push. You're telling your dreams to wait while you comfort your fear. And that's why so many people never reach their full potential. They built a lifestyle around justifying failure instead of learning from it. They've mastered the art of explaining why they can't instead of proving why they can. But listen, the world doesn't care why you didn't make it. It only sees whether you did or didn't. You can't deposit excuses at the bank. You can't feed your family with explanations. You can't build a legacy on reasons. You can only build it on results. I get it. It's easy to make excuses. Life gets tough. Things don't go as planned. People betray you. Opportunities don't show up. But that's life. That's the game. Everyone faces challenges, but not everyone responds the same way. Some people let obstacles become their excuses, while others use them as fuel. The difference between winners and losers isn't the size of their problems, it's the strength of their response. Winners say, I'll find a way. Losers say, it's not fair. Winners adapt, losers explain. Winners produce results, losers produce reasons. You've got to decide who you're going to be. Are you going to be the person who keeps telling stories about why it didn't work? Or are you going to be the one who makes it work no matter what? Because life will test you. It will push you to the edge. It will throw roadblocks, failures, and disappointments your way. But if you keep showing up, if you keep giving your best, if you keep pushing with everything you've got, your effort will pay off. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen because effort compounds. Every single time you refuse to quit, every single time you give 100%, you're stacking results that nobody can take away from you. When you live with excuses, you trap yourself in a cycle of limitation. You start believing your own story. You say things like, I would, but I don't have time. Well, I want to, but I don't have money. I could, but people don't support me. You start convincing yourself that you're a victim of your environment. But let me tell you something. You're not a victim. You're not a victim. You're a decision away from victory. The same people who started with less than you, the same people who came from nothing are out there winning because they stopped explaining and started executing. They stopped blaming circumstances and started creating outcomes. They stopped looking for reasons and started taking responsibility. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control what you do about it. That's where effort comes in. Effort is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start. If you put in the work, you can change the ending. You can't change your past, but you can write your future through relentless effort. Effort doesn't care about your background, your struggles, or your mistakes. It only responds to consistency. It only rewards those who keep showing up. Excuses, on the other hand, are sneaky. They sound reasonable. They sound smart. They make you feel justified. I didn't go to the gym because I was tired. I didn't start my business because the economy is bad. I didn't chase my dream because I didn't have support. But here's the truth. There will always be a reason not to do something. If you're looking for excuses, you'll always find them. Effort requires courage because it forces you to take ownership. It forces you to say, I didn't get it done, and it's on me. That's a hard pill to swallow, but that's where growth begins. When you take full ownership of your life, you eliminate excuses. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You stop complaining about how hard it is, and start focusing on what you can do right now. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds momentum. Every ounce of effort adds up. You might not see results today, but every bit of sweat, every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice, it's all building towards something. The problem is most people quit before they see the reward. They expect quick results. And when it doesn't happen fast, they make excuses to protect their ego. They say, oh, maybe it wasn't meant to be. No, it was meant to be. You just stopped before you got there. Effort requires humility. It requires you to admit that you have to earn it. Excuses allow you to pretend that you deserve it without working for it. That's why excuses feel good. They keep you comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. Nothing great comes from comfort. Everything extraordinary is born out of effort, out of struggle, out of discomfort. If you want to grow, you got to be willing to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to do the work that nobody else wants to do. You got to be willing to grind in silence while others make excuses in public. Excuses also rob you of self-respect because deep down, you know when you didn't give your all. You know when you quit early. You know when you could have done better. And that eats at you. You might fool others with your reasons, but you can't fool yourself. When you start prioritizing effort over excuses, you start rebuilding that self-trust. You start proving to yourself that you can depend on you. That's powerful. Because once you trust yourself, once you know you'll follow through no matter what, you become unstoppable. So the next time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I telling the truth? Or am I protecting my comfort? Be honest. If it's comfort, kill it. Replace excuse with action. Replace the complaint with consistency. Replace the reason with results. Every time you do that, you're rewiring your mindset for greatness. You're training your brain to focus on solutions instead of problems. The world doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're struggling. It doesn't care if life's been unfair. All it cares about is whether you showed up. Did you execute? Did you give your best? Did you keep going? That's what counts. Because in the end, your results are the only thing people remember. They won't remember the storms you went through. They'll remember that you survived. They won't remember how many excuses you made. They'll remember that you delivered. If you want to change your life, stop explaining and start executing. Let your effort be your evidence. Let your progress be your response. Every day you got two choices: make excuses or make progress. You can't do both. You can't be committed and comfortable at the same time. You can't move forward while looking backward. You can't win if you keep waiting for perfect conditions. You've got to move now. You've got to act now. You've got to give your all now. Because effort is louder than excuses. Effort builds character. Effort builds confidence. Effort builds legacy. Excuses build nothing but regret. And regret is the heaviest burden you'll ever carry. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your potential die behind the wall of regret. Show the world what happens when someone refuses to make excuses. Show the world what it looks like to keep pushing, to keep fighting, to keep believing. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need relentless effort. You don't need everything to go right. You just need to keep going when things go wrong. Because the moment you replace excuses with effort, everything changes. The doors that were closed start to open. The opportunities that seemed impossible start appearing. People start noticing your dedication. The world starts responding to your energy. That's the power of effort. So stop waiting. Stop talking. Stop explaining. Get up. Work harder. Stay longer. Push deeper. Do what others won't. Because at the end of the day, your excuses won't save you. Your effort will. Your excuses won't build your dream. Your effort will. Your excuses won't make history. Your effort will. When it's all said and done, let your results tell the story. Let your effort shout so loud that no excuse could ever drown it out. Because in this life, excuses fade, but effort echoes forever. Excuses are the chains that keep people locked in the same place year after year. Every time you say, I can't, it's too hard, or I'll try later, you add another link to that chain. And the truth is, those chains aren't made of steel. They're made of fear, comfort, and laziness. The moment you start justifying why you haven't reached your goals, you give your power away. You tell the world that your comfort means more to you than your destiny. You tell yourself that your potential isn't worth the pain required to reach it. And deep down, that's the most dangerous lie of all, because it convinces you that average is acceptable when greatness was always possible. Eric Thomas says it all the time. You can't have excuses and results. At the same time, you either make progress or you make excuses, but you can't do both. The person who gets up early, who stays late, who pushes when it hurts, who grinds when nobody's watching, that's the one who gets the results. The one who talks about why it didn't happen, they stay where they are, blaming circumstances, blaming people, blaming everything except the person in the mirror. Life doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't stop because you're tired, broke, or struggling. Life keeps moving, and it rewards those who take ownership, those who refuse to let excuses define their effort. Think about it. Every excuse you make builds comfort around failure. I didn't have enough time. I didn't have the right tools. All those lines are the soundtrack of mediocrity, because the truth is everyone's got obstacles. Everyone's got struggles. The successful ones just choose to fight through them instead of explaining them. They use their pain as motivation, not justification. They look at the mountain and say, "Look, this will make me stronger, not this is too steep." And that mindset shift is everything. Because the minute you stop giving energy excuses, you start giving energy to execution. Eric Thomas didn't come from privilege. He didn't have an easy start. He was homeless, hungry, and hopeless. But he never used that as an excuse. He used it as fuel. That's what separates those who talk about dreams from those who live them. Your situation doesn't determine your success. Your decisions do. You can be broke and still be focused. You can be tired and still give effort. You can have nothing and still grind like you have everything to prove. The only question is, are you willing to stop explaining why you can't and start proving that you can? When you live a life full of excuses, you live a life full of regret. Because one day you'll look back and realize that every time you said, I can't, it wasn't that you couldn't. It's that you wouldn't. You didn't push. You didn't try harder. You didn't dig deeper. You let comfort win. You let fear whisper louder than faith. But when you eliminate excuses, you take back control. You start finding solutions instead of problems. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them. Once you do that, something powerful happens. Momentum is built by consistency, and consistency is born when excuses die. You can't get momentum if every day you're negotiating with yourself. You can't say, I'll work out if I feel like it, or I'll study when I'm in the mood. Discipline means doing it anyway, whether you feel like it or not. Excuses feed emotions. Discipline feeds progress. You'll never hear a champion talk about how tired they were. They talk about how they pushed through. They talk about how they showed up when most people quit. That's why their results speak louder than any excuse ever could. When Eric Thomas says the results talk louder, he's not just talking about success and money or fame. He's talking about integrity. When you show up every day, when you give your best no matter the circumstance, people see that. They feel it. You don't have to announce your grind. Your results become the announcement. The job promotion, the diploma, the healthy body, the successful business. Those things tell the story. Excuses only sound good to the person making them, but results inspire everyone who sees them. So how do you destroy excuses? You replace them with accountability. Stop saying, I don't have time. Start managing the 24 hours you do have. Stop saying, I don't know how. Start learning. Stop saying it's not fair. Start working twice as hard. Every time you feel an excuse coming, ask yourself, is this helping me get closer to my goal or further away? Because the truth is, excuses might make you feel better temporarily, but they steal your future permanently. Every second you spend explaining why you're not where you should be is a second you can spend getting there. It's easy to blame others. It's easy to point fingers and say, if they supported me, if I had their resources, or if I was lucky like them. But what if you flip that mindset? What if you said, it's on me? Because the moment you take responsibility, you take your power back. You stop being a victim and start being a victor. You realize that you might not control everything that happens to you, but you control how you respond. That's where real strength lives. And once you adopt that mindset, something shifts in your spirit. You start to see that the grind isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every tough situation, every setback, every failure becomes an opportunity to grow. Instead of saying, I can't, you start saying, oh, watch me. Instead of saying, oh, this is too hard, you say, this will make me stronger. You start looking for reasons to win instead of excuses to quit. That's when life begins to open up, when doors start to move, when results begin to show. Excuses might make you feel safe, but they also keep you stuck. Growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. You can't expect new results with the same lazy habits. You can't become great while defending average behavior. Every time you catch yourself justifying, stop and ask, would the person I want to become accept this excuse? If the answer is no, then act accordingly. Because winners don't need to talk about effort, they live it. They don't explain their failure. They analyze it, learn from it, and bounce back harder. At the end of the day, excuses are the language of those who settle. Results are the language of those who rise. When you remove excuses, you make room for results. You make room for growth, for success, for transformation. You make room for the best version of yourself to step forward. And that version, the one who refuses to quit, who refuses to hide behind reason, that version becomes unstoppable. So stop explaining, stop justifying, stop waiting. Get up, get focused, and go all in. Life won't hand you results. You gotta earn them. You've gotta outwork your excuses, outthink your limits, and outlast your fears. Because at the end of it all, nobody remembers the excuses. They only remember the results. And when your results start speaking for you, the world won't just listen. It'll respect your grind. Accountability is one of the most powerful principles you can live by. It's the bridge between intention and execution, between talking about greatness and actually becoming great. The truth is, most people love to dream. They love to visualize success. But when it comes to taking full responsibility for every decision, every mistake, every missed opportunity, they hesitate. Accountability isn't glamorous. It means owning your failures, facing your flaws, and refusing to point fingers when things go wrong. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, it's on me. And once you do that, something changes inside you. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. Eric Thomas says, you can't be upset with the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. That's accountability in its rawest form. It's about being brutally honest with yourself. If you didn't get the job, maybe you didn't prepare enough. If your fitness goals aren't showing, maybe you didn't stay consistent. If your business isn't growing, maybe you didn't make the calls, didn't study the strategy, didn't hustle like you said you would. Accountability doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means facing reality without excuses. Because you can't fix what you refuse to face. And the longer you avoid accountability, the longer you stay stuck in the same cycle of underperformance and disappointment. The people who win in life, the ones who rise above, who break barriers, who create success from nothing, those people live by accountability. They don't wait for motivation. They operate by discipline. They don't need someone to remind them of their goals. They remind themselves every single day. They don't rely on luck or timing. They rely on effort and consistency. When you're accountable, you stop blaming circumstances and you start controlling what you can. You stop saying, hey, they didn't help me, and you start saying, I'll figure it out. That mindset is unstoppable because it puts you in charge. You're no longer at the mercy of life. You're in command of your choices. But accountability also means you can't lie to yourself. Then that's where most people struggle. It's easy to fool others. It's hard to fool the mirror. Accountability is about standing in front of that mirror and confronting your truth. Are you really giving 100%? Or are you giving 60% and calling it effort? Are you showing up every day or only when it's convenient? Are you building discipline or are you building excuses? Because success doesn't care about what you say. It responds to what you do. You can talk all you want about how badly you want it. But if your actions don't match your words, the universe won't deliver. When you're truly accountable, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop saying, when I get more money, I'll start. Or when I have time, I'll do it. And when I feel ready, I'll try. Accountability says, no, start with what you have, where you are right now. Because the truth is, if you're not responsible with the small opportunity, you'll never handle the big ones. Every day is a test of discipline, a test of ownership. You might not control the outcome, but you control the effort. You control your attitude. You control how you respond when life punches you in the mouth. Eric Thomas often reminds his audience, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That statement is rooted in accountability. It's saying that your results are a reflection of your hunger. If you truly wanted it, your behavior will prove it. Accountability forces you to look at the gap between your goals and your habits. Because that gap, that space is where the truth lives. You say you want success, but do your actions show it? You say you want freedom, but do you sacrifice for it? You say you want greatness, but do you live like it? The difference between wishing and winning is accountability. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to push you harder than you push yourself. Your parents, your friends, your mentors, they can guide you. They can motivate you. But at the end of the day, it's your race. Accountability means you stop expecting someone to drag you to the finish line. You stop needing constant validation. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You take ownership of your destiny. You wake up early, you study, you train, you work, not because someone told you to, but because you decided to take control of your future. And here's the truth, accountability is freedom. Most people think it's restriction. They think being accountable means pressure. But in reality, it liberates you. Because when you take full responsibility, you realize that your life isn't controlled by chance. It's controlled by choice. You stop living like a victim and start living like a victim and start living like a creator. Every action, every decision, every habit becomes a brick you lay toward your vision. You begin to understand that success is predictable. It's built daily through accountable behavior. Accountability also separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs look for shortcuts. Professionals focus on standards. Amateurs talk about effort. Professionals measure it. Amateurs chase motivation. Professionals rely on system. When you hold yourself to a standard, you no longer need to be told what to do. You already know what needs to be done. Accountability makes you consistent even when no one is watching. Because character isn't built in public, it's built in private. The late nights, the early morning, the unseen sacrifices, that's where accountability shows its power. Eric Thomas teaches that accountability is not about perfection. It's about progression. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short sometimes. But the accountable person doesn't quit. They adjust. They don't make excuses. They analyze and improve. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. Accountability means you learn from your errors instead of repeating them. It means you hold yourself to the same standards, even when it's inconvenient. Because discipline isn't about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's necessary. Let's be real. Accountability is uncomfortable. It requires you to confront your weaknesses, to admit where you've been lazy or distracted. But growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in confrontation. When you start holding yourself accountable, you start eliminating behavior that don't serve your goals. You stop wasting time on distraction, toxic habits, and negative energy. You become focused, sharper, and more intentional. You start living with purpose instead of drifting through life, hoping for success to find you. Accountability isn't just about you. It impacts everyone around you. When you live with responsibility, you set a standard that inspires others. Your family sees it. Your coworkers feel it. Your team respects it. People start trusting you because they know your word means something. You become reliable, dependable, and credible. And that reputation opens doors. It creates opportunities that excuses never could. Because in a world full of talkers, the doer stands out. Accountability makes you that doer, the one who shows up and delivers no matter the circumstance. Over time, accountability becomes a habit. It becomes your way of life. You stop running from responsibility and start chasing it. You realize that holding yourself accountable isn't a burden, it's a privilege. It means you're in control of your growth. It means you're not waiting for luck, you're creating results. It means you're walking in integrity, building consistency, and honoring the promises you made to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the most important promise is the one you keep to you. So every morning ask yourself, what am I accountable for today? What choices will move me closer to my dream? Am I operating with excellence or with excuses? Because accountability isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's built every time you say, I will, and follow through. Every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you own your mistakes instead of hiding from them. Every time you rise after falling. That's the essence of greatness. Accountability isn't about being perfect. It's about being real, being consistent, and being relentless. It's about doing what we said you do long after the move you said it and has faded. And when you live like that, when you hold yourself to that standard, your results will speak louder than your words. People will see your work ethic, your integrity, your perseverance, and they'll know. They'll know you're not just talking about greatness, you're living it. Because in the end, accountability is the foundation of every success story. It's what turns dreams into plans and plans into results. It's the difference between saying a someday and saying I did it. So hold yourself accountable. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfect. Step up on your journey and execute. Because once you make accountability your lifestyle, success becomes inevitable. Your results will become undeniable. And when they do, you won't need to speak. Your life will do the talking for you. Discipline is the backbone of all achievement. Without it, talent fades, motivation wanes, and dreams remain just dreams. Discipline is what separates those who talk about success from those who live it every single day. It's easy to be inspired for a moment, to feel motivated after a speech or a video, but true results come when you consistently do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's the power of discipline. It's the silent force that turns intentions into actions and actions into results. It's what allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary outcomes. When most people think of discipline, they think of restriction, control, or punishment. They imagine schedules, rules, and sacrifice. And yes, discipline does require structure, self-control, and sacrifice, but it's not a punishment. Boy. It's a tool. It's the lever that lifts you from where you are to where you want to be. Discipline allows you to say no to the things that hold you back, so you can say yes to the things that push you forward. It's choosing delayed gratification over temporary pleasure. It's understanding that every small, consistent action compounds into massive results over time. Eric Thomas constantly reminds people that discipline is more important than motivation because motivation is fleeting. Motivation is a feeling. It's an emotion that comes and goes. One day you wake up inspired, ready to conquer the world. The next day life hits, obstacles appear, and suddenly that motivation disappears. Discipline, however, doesn't rely on feelings. Discipline is a commitment to action regardless of how you feel. It's showing up when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when it's inconvenient. Discipline is the bridge that connects where you are to where you want to be, even when motivation fails. Now, discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Nobody becomes successful by doing everything perfectly every single time. That's impossible. The difference between winners and everyone else is that winners don't quit when they fail. They don't give in to temporary discomfort or temptation. They get back up, adjust, and keep moving forward. They make small daily choices that align with their goals. They choose focus over distraction, work over laziness, preparation over procrastination. Discipline is what allows them to stay on course and keep producing results, even when the journey is long and difficult. A lack of discipline is one of the main reasons most people never reach their full potential. They have talent, intelligence, and even opportunity, but they lack the commitment to consistently put in the work. They start strong, they feel motivated, they make plans, but when challenges arise or when it gets uncomfortable, they quit. Discipline is what prevents that. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. It's what makes you get up at 5 a.m. to train, to study, to work on your craft, even when you rather sleep or relax. Discipline is the quiet force that turns potential into achievement. Discipline also builds character. It teaches patience, resilience, and self-respect. When you hold yourself accountable and stay committed to your goals, you develop a confidence that cannot be shaken. You prove to yourself every day that you can rely on yourself, that your word has value, that your effort matters. That confidence doesn't come from luck or talent. It comes from the discipline to keep showing up, keep working, and keep pushing beyond your comfort zone. It's a mindset that says, I will do what it takes, even when it's hard, because I respect my goals and my future more than my current feelings. Discipline is also what separates ordinary results from extraordinary results. Anyone can try for a week or a month. Anyone can give effort when they feel like it, but discipline is what allows you to outlast, you to outwork, and outperform everyone else over the long term. It's the reason some people achieve more in 5 years than others do in 50. It's the reason consistency beats raw talent almost every time. Discipline turns average effort into unstoppable momentum. It transforms ordinary routines into habits that produce exceptional outcomes. Another crucial aspect of discipline is focus. Discipline allows you to prioritize what matters and ignore what doesn't. In a world full of distraction, it's easy to get sidetracked. Social media, entertainment, peer pressure, and instant gratification are everywhere, and they compete for your attention. Discipline teaches you to say no to what's easy and yes to what's essential. It helps you develop the laser-like focus required to achieve your goals. Focus is not about eliminating all fun. It's about choosing actions that move you closer to your vision over temporary pleasure. Discipline is also a mindset. It's the internal voice that tells you to keep going when everything outside of you is screaming to quit. It's the self-control to resist temptation, the courage to stay consistent, and the mental strength to push through discomfort. Discipline is built through small daily victories. Every time you choose action over procrastination, you strengthen it. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you reinforce it. Over time, these small victories compound, and discipline becomes second nature. It becomes part of who you are, not just something you try to practice. Eric Thomas emphasizes that discipline is about self-mastery. You cannot achieve greatness if you cannot control your own behavior. You cannot reach your full potential if you are controlled by impulses, laziness, or short-term gratification. Discipline is about taking control of your life, making conscious choices, and committing to long-term results over temporary comfort. It's about understanding that the path to success is not a straight line or a smooth ride. It's filled with challenges, obstacles, and discomfort. Discipline is what keeps you on that path. Even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when nobody is watching. Discipline also creates freedom. That may sound counterintuitive, but the more disciplined you are, the more control you have over your life. When you have self-control, when you stick to your plans, when you follow through on your commitment, you create opportunities. You earn respect. You gain momentum. You develop skills. You become reliable and capable. Discipline frees you from chaos, from regret, from wasted potential. It allows you to design the life you want instead of drifting through life reacting to circumstances. Every great achiever in history shares one common trait: discipline. They may have had talent, resources, or luck, but without discipline, none of it would have mattered. Discipline turns ideas into action, action into habits, and habits into results. It is the engine that drives persistence, the compass that guides consistency, and the framework that supports growth. Without it, effort is wasted and potential remains untapped. With it, the impossible becomes achievable and dreams become reality. Discipline is not easy, and it never will be. It requires sacrifice, dedication, and resilience. It means making hard choices consistently. It means doing what's necessary, not what's convenient. It means staying committed to your goals even when you're tired, discouraged, or distracted. But the reward is worth it. Discipline builds a life that others admire, a career that others respect, and a legacy that others remember. It is the difference between talking about greatness and actually living it. To cultivate discipline, you must start with small, consistent action. Build routines that support your goals. Set standards for yourself and hold yourself accountable. Remove distractions that waste your energy. Surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. Commit to excellence every day, even in the small things, because the small things compound into big results. Understand that discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Ultimately, discipline is about controlling the controllable. You cannot control the world, other people, or every circumstance in life, but you can control your actions, your effort, your mindset, and your habits. And when you master those, results inevitably follow. Discipline turns chaos into order, struggle into growth, and dreams into reality. It's the foundation for everything worthwhile in life. Without discipline, talent and potential are wasted. With discipline, even the most ordinary person can achieve the extraordinary. The key is to stay consistent, stay focused, and stay committed. Wake up every day with purpose. Do what others won't do. Push through the pain, the fatigue, and the distractions. Commit to excellence, not just occasionally, but as a lifestyle. That's what makes results louder than words. That's what turns effort into achievement. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. Discipline is the silent voice that carries you through the hard days, the tough times, and the obstacles. And in the end, it is that discipline that produces results that speak louder than anything you could ever say. If you want to be great, if you want to achieve, if you want your life to reflect your potential, you must embrace discipline. Make it a habit, make it a priority, make it a lifestyle. Because when discipline becomes part of who you are, your results will follow. They will speak for you. They will open doors, create opportunities, and earn respect. It will turn your dreams into reality. And when that happens, you'll realize that discipline isn't a burden. It's the greatest gift you can give yourself, the most powerful tool for success, and the one thing that ensures that your results always speak louder than your words. When everything is said and done, when all the talking stops and all the noise fades, what remains are your results. That's the real story. That's the truth that can't be rewritten or debated. In this life, people will make promises. They'll talk about dreams. They'll speak of greatness, but only a few will live in a way that proves it. Only a few will have results strong enough to silence doubt, fear, and criticism. The ones who win are not always the most talented or the loudest. They're the ones who kept grinding when it wasn't glamorous, who stayed consistent when it wasn't easy? Who believed when no one else did? Your results are your evidence that you didn't just wish for it, you worked for it. They're the reflection of every sacrifice you made, every sleepless night, every moment you chose discipline over distraction. And that's why results talk louder. Words can inspire for a moment, but results inspire for generations. Words can make people believe for a day, but results make people believe forever. What you build, what you achieve, what you prove through your actions, that's your real legacy. At some point, you have to decide whether you want to be remembered for your words or your work. Talking is easy. It costs nothing. But results, they demand everything. They demand effort, time, sacrifice, and resilience. They require you to get uncomfortable, to keep pushing through pain, to stay patient when it feels like nothing's happening. But the beauty of results is that they don't lie, they're honest. They tell the truth about how bad you wanted it. There will come a time when people doubt you, when they question your potential, when they whisper that you're not capable. That's when you let your results do the talking. You don't argue, you don't explain, you show. Because results have a language everyone understands. You don't have to say you're great when your work makes it undeniable. You don't have to beg for respect when your consistency commands it. You don't have to shout for attention when your excellence draws it naturally. Eric Thomas says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That means the moment you stop chasing recognition and start chasing results, everything changes. You start walking differently, thinking differently, and moving differently, You stop seeking validation from others because your work becomes your validation. You stop talking about potential and start living in performance. You realize that results are not just something you produce. They're something you become. You become the result of your habits, your mindset, your discipline, and your determination. And that's what makes real winners different. They don't need to tell you they're working. They're too busy doing it. They don't need to announce their goals. They let success reveal them. They don't need to talk about the grind. They live it every single day because they understand that results are not a one-time achievement. They're a lifestyle. You don't just get results once. You keep producing them over and over until your name becomes synonymous with excellence. It's easy to want the prize, but it's hard to love the process. It's easy to get excited at the start, but it's hard to stay focused when the excitement fades. But those who understand that consistency creates credibility and result, create recognition, never quit. They keep going when it's hard. They keep showing up when it's quiet. They keep believing when it's lonely because they know the results are worth it. They know the grind will pay off. They know that one day all the sacrifices will make sense. When you start seeing your results, you'll realize that every moment of struggle had a purpose. Every failure was a lesson. Every delay was preparation. Every tear was building strength. The results don't just prove that you succeeded. They prove that you survived, that you evolved, that you became everything you said you would. That's why your results are sacred. They carry your story within them. They're not just trophies. They're testaments. There will always be people who talk more than they work. They'll post about success without living it, talk about dreams without pursuing them, promise things they never intend to do. Don't get distracted by that noise. Stay locked in on your mission. Let your silence make them wonder and your success make them listen. Because eventually the truth always comes out. And the truth is that results are the real voice of effort. So keep working, even when no one's watching. Keep improving, even when no one's clapping. Keep pushing, even when no one believes. Because one day, the same people who overlooked you have no choice but to acknowledge your results. You won't have to say a word. You won't have to say a word. You won't have to prove yourself. Your results will stand as your voice, your defense, your power. The world doesn't care about promises. It responds to proof. It doesn't reward intentions. It rewards impact. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary isn't talk, it's result. If you want your life to matter, if you want your name to carry weight, if you want to leave something behind that can't be erased, stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing. Start building. Start producing. Start turning your dreams into data, your goals into growth, your plans into performance. Every single day is another chance to write your story through action. Every morning you wake up, you decide whether to add another page of talk or another page of results. Choose results. Choose the grind. Choose to let your work speak for you. Because when the journey ends, when people talk about who you were, what you did, it won't be your words they remember. It'll be your results. You don't have to say much when your life itself becomes the message. You don't have to demand respect when your results command it naturally. You don't have to chase validation when your consistency brings it to you. All you have to do is keep going, keep building, keep showing the world that you don't need to announce your power. You live it. Let your story be written not by your words, but by your work. Let your results echo louder than any speech, louder than any promise, louder than any doubt. And when it's all said and done, when the dust settles and the noise fades, the only thing left standing will be the proof of your effort. The results that tell the world exactly who you were, what you stood for, and how you refused to quit until your dream became reality. That's the voice of true success. That's when results talk louder.